welcome to the Away Day Experience Show. This is Back of the Net and my name is Sam Davis.
My name's Tom Jordan.
This is the show where, Tom, we go through what it's like to visit every single Premier League ground this season. And there's one important rule that we need to know. We don't talk about the football, mate. It's nothing about the football.
No, we leave all of that bias, all that's on the pitch, we just leave that at the door and we talk about everything that surrounds an away day, which at the moment for a Bournemouth fan is probably better than talking about the football. So yeah, we're just going to talk about everything on the away day, nothing to do with the match itself.
Yeah, and look, being in the Premier League, people say it's a watered down, it's not as good as the Championship, prefer away days in the Championship. Maybe that's right, but each and every one of them's got a different thing to offer. And look, there are some stereotypical views there that we counter. For instance, the atmosphere at Man City was actually pretty good. The atmosphere at Liverpool was actually pretty poor. So these are things that we take into account, but it's not just the atmosphere, Tom. There are 5 different points we cover off in the show, and they are?
Yeah, we discussed the pre-match experience first of all, so that's everything from getting to the stadium and what you do beforehand, whether that's grab coffee, go to a pub, and what that was like. We then go into the concourse and the refreshments,
nice.
So kind of underneath, and what that's like there, what's the price like, what's the how spacious is it, all that good stuff. Then we talk about the stadium and the view itself. Maybe be a new stadium this one, who knows, mate.
Yeah.
But see what the stadium's like, what the view's like from where we're sat. Then we talk about the atmosphere, what the home atmosphere is like on that day when we went there. As you say, some differ a lot this season. And then we go into the people themselves. We like to chat to a lot of the opposition fans when we do our vlog and stuff. So yeah, see what the reception's like and what they think about us as well.
And we all love a tier list, right? Everyone loves a tier list. You love a tier list? Yeah, so do I. And that's how we rank them. And we've got a tier list that's populated already with the games that we've been to this season. And Tom, in the tier list, there are a number of categories ranging from what looks good to poor. What are they?
Yeah, right at the top you've got banging visit, which is everything you want from an away day, and then some, which Newcastle sit there at the moment on their own. Then we go to decent day, which, as it says, decent day, well happy with it, not quite enough to get into the banging visit though. Right in the middle, can't complain, pretty happy, pretty content, could do better, put it in the bad one. Then we go meh, not the best, little bit underwhelmed with what it was for an away day. Chelsea are in there at the moment on their own. And right at the bottom, what a waste of petrol, awful one, wouldn't be bothered if that had to go back there, and unfortunately for them, West Ham's in there at the moment, mate, the Olympic Stadium.
Make sure you click to subscribe. There's a little red button, because by doing that, look, your team may be on there already. You might think it's done. It's not done. At the season, we'll recalibrate this table, because when we've got all 19 teams to consider, of course we don't play ourselves, but we'll have 19 teams on this list, and then we'll be able to work out maybe we're a bit too generous with them. Maybe we need to put them up a level. Those kind of things. We'll be having a conversation about that. But also, if your team's not on the list, then there's a reason to subscribe, because we'll be doing a match day vlog, a preview, a second look. There's all sorts of shows talking about your team. So why not hit that button? And you'll appear on the tier list. And as Tom says, Newcastle are at the top. So then, Tom, who have we got this week? New stadium, mate.
I did tease that earlier. Yeah, nice brand new one for us. So looking forward to it, because it was, it's rare that you get a brand new stadium that you've not been to before as a football club. So yeah, was really looking forward to this one. So
Brentford are a team that, look, if you're not a Bournemouth fan, you may not know much about them. You probably don't know much about us, but they've been our sort of divisional stablemates throughout our existence. Really, they've always been there or thereabouts near us, whether it be in Division 4, Division 3, that then became League 2, League 1, the Championship, and now the Premier League. Of course, going to Griffin Park, their old stadium, was great. It was superb. Pub on every corner. It was like an old school ground, very antiquated, not much room for development. So what they did was they moved to a new 7.5 acre site not so far away. It's penned in somewhat, but they've made use of that room really well. But what's it like to visit? Well, first, we had to get up there in the first place, and usually, Tom, trains are the way to go, but with it, engineering works and striking and stuff. You know what, we did our usual thing. And parked in Richmond, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. As I say, difficult because you can't really blame Brentford for that. But obviously the trains were a bit of a nightmare. But we parked up at Richmond, and then it was quite easy. Really, it was at Gunnersbury, and that was the station as well. Yeah, so it was that was always handy. One of the pubs called the station. The easiest to remember.
So we got on the tube at Richmond. It was 2 stops.
Yeah, it was quick, wasn't it?
Yeah, really quick. And then the pub was literally just there. And from there, it was about a 15-minute walk to the ground. But it's a nice pub, wasn't it?
Yeah, I liked it. It was obviously this game was a bit later, wasn't it? Was it at 5:30?
Yeah.
Kick-off. So had a decent amount of time there, and they had the sports on, so you could see all the 3 o'clocks coming in, Soccer Saturday and all that. their food options, but they also had a Subway opposite that you can run to for a bit of cheaper food. Considering you're basically London, but yeah, it was a nice pub, mate. Quite spacious. I think there was, what was the other alternative that a lot of Bournemouth fans went into? We debated. Pilot?
The Pilot, yeah, that's right. Yeah, there was a pub nearer that I think looked pretty busy, and that's the pub that we were actually going to go to. But when we were walking past, we were thinking, "Ooh, that looks alright." And we've sort of changed. I mean, I don't want to say we're getting older, but as time's gone on, we're sort of going to the pubs that are a bit less busy. Maybe not the one that's listed on Football Ground Guide, because it's quicker to get served. You get food if you want to, and yes, it may be a bit of a longer walk to the ground, but at least you know you're going to get a drink in and have some social time where you can actually hear the person you're speaking to.
Yeah, exactly. I think everyone I spoke to said that the Pilot was decent, but as you say, mate, we went into the Gunnersbury and I thought actually it's all right in here, and it's nice, like you say, to have a chat and they had football on and stuff. So, and if you go into somewhere and you think, oh, we might move on, then you don't, it was obviously all right. And as you say, mate, it was an easy walk to the ground and all that stuff. So really, all in all, considering there's a bit of an issue with trains and stuff to get directly there, it was quite good, I thought.
Now, I want to talk about the pre-match experience in the stadium as well. Look, a lot of people tend to get there early to absorb the atmosphere, and whilst I could put this in stadium in view, I feel as though it needs to go in pre-match because that's exactly what it was. We walked to the stadium, and we'll talk about the concourse in a minute, but went up the concourse and then went inside the actual bowl of the stadium, and it was dark. It was like a light show going on, mate. Pyrotechnics, flashing lights, a bit for the streets. Turn the page, mate. If only Scott Parker was manager, he would probably be doing the rap for that. However, it was a really good vibe, and really got me up for the game, actually. In many ways, I didn't want the football to start. I just wanted the party to carry on.
Well, I agree with that in hindsight as well.
Like I said on the vlog, I wasn't sure whether Take That or Coldplay were coming on, or whether it was going to be a football match. It was a football match, and again, we won't talk about that. But the pre-match experience in general, I thought was all right.
Yeah, pretty good, mate. I'm gonna go pretty solid. Yeah, I'm gonna go solid 7 on this one. I'm happy with it.
Good stuff, 7, there we go. Now, whilst we're scoring these just help us to gauge where we're going to put on the tier list, so don't go adding them up and then comparing with other previous videos we've done, right? Concourse and refreshments then. Concourse, it was like a 2-tier concourse, because there were some tunnels that go onto the very bottom of where the away sections go, but you can go up the stairs within the concourse and then get to the ones that are a bit higher up. But there was a big space at the bottom, as you can see from the pictures on your screen, and then at the top there was also a bar there, so you had plenty of choice, and I thought it was alright, mate.
Yeah, I quite liked it. I think as you mentioned there, I think the fact that you could go to another bar at the top and stuff is helpful, because it just means you're not queuing for ages. So that was really handy. I think they had all the standard stuff available in terms of food and drink, which was all good. I think I just went down and had a bottle of Carlsberg, I think it was. I mean, it wasn't cheap.
No.
I don't think. Was it like a £5 or something?
I'm going to find out the exact price. I'm opening my banking app now. Dread to see it.
I think it was about £5 for a bottle, but to be fair, that's what you're going to get, I suppose, in most grounds. But I did like, it was spacious. I like the fact that you go upstairs and there was a couple of floors, and it was, it just made it easier and more convenient, I guess, at half time and stuff. So. Yeah, in general, mate. Obviously, first time being in that concourse, it was good. Happy with refreshments, but have you got the price of it now?
£5.25.
Yeah, that's not ideal
for a bottle.
It's not ideal, but I was happy with it all in all. I was debating an 8, and all I'm going to do is, because of that £5.20, I'm just going to still go for a solid 7.
Yeah, solid 7 there. Look, some of the people that I chatted to about the food were fairly complimentary, but they did say it was standard food fodder. So there we go with that. And also we've got some pictures as well that kind of links into the stadium as well, from Rob Trent from Access Advisor, who said he actually really enjoyed the visit. The only thing that he sort of downgraded was the fact that he had to get an outdoor lift to get to where he needed to go, and I remember that because we walked down some steps to get near where the gates were, the turnstiles were, and I was thinking, how on earth do people that have got access requirements get down there? There was an outdoor lift, so he thought that was a bit of a pain, but apart from that, really enjoyed it. And then he had a good view, which is the next part, and it links into the stadium as a whole, mate. They've got a small space, but they've used it well. I think 17,500 people.
Yes, around that, which I think is perfect probably for them at the moment, and probably something we'll look at a little bit ourselves, really, as you mentioned, the fact that the kind of rise of both teams has been pretty similar. But I really liked it. As I say, stadium I've obviously never been to before, and I did like it. The view was bang on for me.
Yeah, excellent.
Yeah, absolutely fine. And Yeah, no, I was thinking, oh, will I be underwhelmed new stadiums? But I wasn't. I did enjoy it. They didn't go too overboard. It was nice and modern, obviously. But I liked the stadium. I don't know about you. I did like it.
Yeah, the only minor niggle was one of the scoreboards at the top was like very
Said 2-0 Brentford.
Yeah, well, yeah, it said 2-0 Brentford, but also it wasn't very clear. It's almost like there was condensation, and it just couldn't. And it was a bit of a crappy picture. It was almost like Channel 5 when it launched back in 1997 or whatever it was. That kind of horrible pitch. But no, really enjoyed it. It's so unique, the design, and they've had to kind of work with the corner. It's almost kind of a hexagonal shape in places where they've had to kind of lower one of the corners because of the railway tracks that run behind it. But I thought it was really good, and it's conducive to what I think is a good atmosphere, which we'll come on to next. But we'll discuss that in particular for this game. But really enjoyed it. View was excellent. You can stand behind the goal because it's on a corner. You can also have that view sort of parallel with the goal line as well. And yeah, really happy. Out of 10?
Yeah, no real queries, mate. So I'm going to go for a good 8.
8 out of 10. So does that stadium design, was it conducive to a good atmosphere? You saw them against Liverpool where they smashed them 3-1, and afterwards it was like party time. But against us?
No. Not so much, mate.
It wasn't, was it? It wasn't good.
No, we do always caveat this, don't we, by saying we know we're Bournemouth and you probably get up for the other games more.
But they're Brentford. But they're Brentford.
Yeah, no, true. But we are the same, I think. I think we always caveat this that at home ourselves, we're not very good, and we get up for games more against the bigger teams, don't we? It just seems to be the way it is, which is sad. But I expected more. Just going off this game, Brentford fans or other fans that have been there, let us know if this was kind of a one-off. And it wasn't just dipping into the football a little bit. It wasn't the best game in the world, so that would have done out. But I did think they'd be better from the off, to be honest, and there was very little.
And up until that sceptical penalty, I think it was fairly even, so we managed to quiet them, didn't we? We played some good football. We didn't litter the goal with shots, but we certainly held our own, I think, and obviously that probably has an effect on how the crowd react to it as well. Yeah,
this is the only one we kind of have to dip into the football a little bit because that does affect the atmosphere big time. But yeah, I think just from the off and before the game, like you say, you've done loads of good stuff in terms of creating an atmosphere outside of the fans, but just thought I'd probably hear a bit more from Brentford. They're in a good place at the moment, and I just thought it'd be a little bit, a lot louder actually. But yeah, it's not. Trust me, Brentford fans, you look on other ones, it seems to be a common theme at the moment. It's probably just they're playing Bournemouth, so no one's got nothing to cheer about. But there's certain clubs that do a lot better. But Brentford were ones that I just thought they'd give a bit more, mate, in terms of atmosphere. We
were singing to them, "Where were you when you were shitting?" I thought, yeah, that's a good chant, but that's also basically complimenting them, telling them they're good.
Yeah, true.
They
wouldn't have been there when they were shit because the stadium wasn't there.
No, exactly. Exactly.
But yeah, I can't mark this one highly, mate. I really can't. There's probably been maybe one or two that have been worse, maybe. We've had some really bad ones, but it's still right down there. I'm going to go for a 3. 3
out of 10 for the atmosphere, says Tom. Right then, the people of Brentford. You know what? I think they're very grounded and down-to-earth people. The people that we've chatted, you know what? They're very respectful in terms of fan bases online. You come up against certain teams, and the comments are littered with just vitriol and horrible comments and just sarcastic dickheads. Brentford, you don't get that, and there are some really nice fans. There's a really nice fan actually that came on the fan cams on the reverse fixture. Simon, if you're watching, hello mate, hope you're doing well. Really complimentary of the channel, watches all the time, and there are quite a few fans that have commented that are kind of know their place and they're not getting beyond themselves. Yeah,
and you do wonder if that's a little bit, as we mentioned a few times in this video, the fact that we've kind of come through similarly together, and they kind of know where they've been, know where they've come from, and are really enjoying it, and know that there's similarities there, isn't there, between the two clubs in that sense. But I think, to be honest, they're probably just happy with how things are going. They've got a good coach, got some good players doing really well, new stadium. I mean, it would be weird to not be happy, but as you say, they don't get carried away with it. It doesn't feel like that anyway, from what we know. And as you mentioned, Simon, top bloke as well, which helps him out on this rating as well, because I like him.
You know what? Can I say something? One of the warmest welcomes that we got over the weekend was in the Gunnersbury pub, and we were sat down. Steve Hensman was just enjoying his pint. He got a tap on the shoulder, and he turned around. There was this little lad who just turned to him and said, "Welcome to Brentford," and he shook his hand.
Yeah.
I don't know how. It was Woody. His name was. It was Woody, and he just. I don't know how old he was. We've got some footage of him inside the pub. He was getting on like a house on fire with Logan, Layla's son, and also he was also pictured elsewhere as well, as you can see on screen now. And what a guy he was.
Yeah,
and then we chatted to his mum, and just a friendly bunch of fans, weren't they?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, always nice, mate. Like I say, just having a bit of a laugh in there. It was good fun. It was it was a quieter pub, but the people in there and stuff were really nice. Everyone I spoke to was really nice, and I say even the kind of online thing, I don't mind Brentford at all. So there was even a few that were going, cool, we got lucky with that penalty, but
this is looking promising, Tom, in terms of
it's going to be a solid 8. Solid 8 again. Though, 8. I was happy with it, yeah.
Right then, shall we bring up the tier list? Shall we? Shall we bring up the tier list? Come on. There we go. There is the tier list on screen now, and you know what? London away days. Well, look, 2 of them have scored not particularly good. Fulham was all right. We have got a couple of them left, mate. We got Spurs. We got Arsenal. We got Palace actually as well. But Brentford, whereabouts are they going to fit on this tier list, mate? Because this could go in one of a couple of categories for me.
No, I get that. I've probably got one in my head straight away, actually. Just obviously, as you mentioned at the start of the show, we will be going back over this in the season because it's easier to compare the more games you have, obviously.
One of the things that we obviously, the distance has to play an effect. It has to.
Of course.
Sometimes we're travelling up north to Newcastle, and look, I mean, they are in banging visit, but that's how much of a banging visit it was. Sometimes the more distance you travel, the not as good it is. But also the kick-off time as well.
Say that. You get midweek games going to be
and this was a 5:30, wasn't it?
5:30, which probably 5:30 gives it a bit of both anyway, I think.
Sometimes it's good.
Yeah, and I did quite like on this occasion that they had Soccer Saturday on before and all that stuff. So yeah, didn't mind that. But yeah, obviously it all plays its part, weather, everything.
I do prefer watching a live game though, rather than watching Jeff Stelling for 2 hours.
I
just want to see the anyway.
I mean, I got in the pub to watch the early game as well. But it's a difficult one, and we'll rejig all this. But for Brentford, and obviously my first trip to that new stadium, I was pretty happy. You can see that in all the ratings really. It was only the atmosphere on it, which a lot could probably go with. So I'm going to put Brentford in decent day.
Decent day for Brentford. There we go, alongside Fulham. Love that from you, mate.
Yeah, I actually think it would probably just edge Fulham if we're going. Just edge. I'm not sure about Liverpool and Forest. I think that would be a bit closer, but it's quite comfortably in decent day for me. Far too good to be in the middle, but not up there for bang visit with Newcastle. So yeah, I'm more than happy with that.
Brentford fans, you're happy with that? We hope you are. Look, good luck for the rest of the season. If you want to subscribe to this channel, we may be moving it at the end when we recalibrate. Maybe not. We don't know. But either way, why don't you give this video a like? But also in the comments, tell us what we could have done differently. Could we have gone anywhere? Could we got to the stadium earlier? Would it have been better? What pubs could we have gone to? Could we have parked anywhere a bit more convenient than, say, Richmond and getting the tube into Gunnersbury? You need to let us know, mate. A pleasure to do this show. Always love doing this show.
Yeah, I do, mate. And what we got up next? Is it Brighton?
Oh, Brighton.
It's a nice little trip for us. And really, apart from I'm just trying to look at it now. Apart from Everton at the end of the season, not too much distance. Be good. This tier list starting to come together now, and that really is. So, can anyone join Newcastle, mate?
Can they? We will find out. Make sure you do all those good things. Until the next one. Up the Ches.
Up Ches.